Hi, I hope you heard all the nice things I said about you. It's nice to be able to see you. I can't see you when we do the webinar things. Okay, where is everyone? Let's rock and roll. Okay, I'm just getting everyone in the room. Okay, let's rock and roll. So, welcome to day 5 of our Q&A, our final Q&A for this challenge. And I just remind you that I'm not going to be giving you any financial advice, although I will be sharing with you if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, or anything I can help with in terms of that process. So, this is again that moment where I hand back to you and I say, right, how can I help? And Glenn, I can see you got your hand out, so you quick out of the starting blocks. So how can I help? You muted.
Not to really help. Just quickly, I wanted to personally thank you, Alex, and the whole team. This has been one of the best investments of my life, these 5 days. And I'm so glad I joined. I've got a meeting with Alex on Tuesday the 14th, which I can't wait for. I can't be on the chat, so I just wanted to just say hello. Thank you for everything. You have been an absolute inspiration. You're a superstar. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Glenn. I always find this day very emotional, so I appreciate the comment. We're all human. So what I mean by that is I love constructive feedback. Alan gives me amazing constructive feedback as to how we can consistently get better. But we're also human, and a compliment every now and again doesn't go too bad. So, but I will tell you one thing, Glenn. One of my objectives, I'm actually going to a meeting at 1 o'clock. I don't know if you know a guy called Simon Zuski, and I've known Simon since 2005. Anyway, him and I have a meeting now at 1 o'clock because one of my ambitions this year is to really kind of penetrate the UK market. We've been quite surprised how many people out of England have started joining our mastermind. It's always us people in Africa and China and India. We think our country's all falling apart. And then I joked with my mates in England. I don't know if you all know this, but I lived in England for 9 years. I have a British passport, blah, blah, blah. And I joked with my mates in England. Was it last year or the year before when there was that shit show with the elections and, anyway, you know what I'm talking about. And I joked with my mates in England. I was like, yes, it's like you're making Zimbabwe look like a well-run country, and it was like, anyway, I think the lesson that we all are learning around the world and why I love diversification so much. It doesn't matter where you live. We've all got our problems, so we might as well have some fun in the process. And but yes, just the only thing I will say to yourself and Shona, just to put the dates in your mind for people in England, we're going to be doing a live event on the 5th, 6th, and 7th of February. For yourself, it's going to be similar content to what I've just done now. So I just want to be clear, you don't necessarily have to come along and be part of it unless you want to be there physically. But what is important is that if you want to come and join us for drinks, we're going to be doing a social thing on the night of the 7th. It'll all be in London. I'm literally meeting with Simon now to finalize where we're going to do it and stuff. But it'll be in London somewhere. But it'll be the 7th of Feb. So I'm just putting it out there for everyone in England. And
Well, if you send me the invite, Scott, I'll be there.
yeah, no, awesome,
I,
Glenn.
I want to meet you in person, buddy. I
No,
want to, I want to shake your hand.
just be careful, I like to have a party as well.
Anyway, I've got to go. So I just wanted to say that. So I hope to see all of you in the school, community, and I hope to give a lot of advice as well as get a lot of advice. So thank you
Awesome.
very much, buddy.
Thanks, Glenn. Keep on, mate.
You
Thanks for your
take
time.
care.
Appreciate it a
Bye
lot.
bye.
Yes, cheers. Cool. So, how can I help? I mean, today was, I don't know if you want me to go back into the wealth plan a little bit. Sometimes people find that a little bit overwhelming. You'll be surprised. It's actually quite easy when you just play with that calculator. You can't break it, which is the nicest thing. So you can literally play around with it and, should I do this? Should I do that? And it's like anything, you just experiment and you can kind of play around with it and kind of see where you're at. So Alan, thanks for the compliment. I appreciate it. But my question is, yeah, really, how can I help? So if we take, let's wrap up the last couple of days. Day one was all about, why diversification? We all heard the word, but why? Why is it important? Why do people like Ray Dalio say it's the single most important thing to financial success? And then day two and day three were enhancing upon that about how do you get the right information? Does that make sense? So what countries, what currencies, what assets, etc. Day four was all about how to find the right partners. And then today is about bringing it all together and having a plan and chucking in a bit of motivation as well so that you can work your plan. Now, my question to you is, how can I help? So is there something from day one that didn't make sense, day two, day three, day four, or today? What can I do to help you get results? Because that's the thing that I care the most about, is how do we help you get results? So Max, over to you.
Well, Scott, thanks again for that wonderful session we just had. It's informative, and I must say I've shifted my mindset quite a bit this week. So thanks for that. My first question is about the affiliate links. Is it only for the university and the wealth hackers, or is it an affiliate link for the investors platform as well?
Very good question. And no, the answer is the team's actually building an integration at the moment. For the Wealth Migrate platform, we can build an affiliate link. So let me answer the question. I don't know how to say this nicely, but so say for example, Brian Walsh, I'm doing a presentation with him on Sunday night. We've created an affiliate link for him, but it's back-end coders that have to do that. So there's not like an automated system yet where we can just give it to everyone. And if Pete Pompies comes along and invites two friends, but obviously for companies, we've been able to do the affiliate link. We are looking at integrating the two so that it's within the one affiliate system. So the university, Shane's built an entire automated system. So whether we have one partner or 100 partners doesn't make any difference because they can all do it. And the best way to describe it is that for now, we're just tracking it manually. So if Joe Soap comes in and they're in the university and then they come on the platform, we're tracking manually. But it is something we're looking to fix and make it automated now in this first quarter.
Okay, so from purely perspective of the platform side, I was just let you know manually if I get somebody that's going to join the platform side.
Yeah, or I mean, the best thing for us, to be frank, is to get someone, if they're wanting to join. That's one of the reasons we created the Passive Income Challenge as an example, because if someone wants to join, the logical thing will be, if you want to join, let Alex hold your hand, sign you up, and get you going, and then it's trackable because what that means is that you'll send them to a landing page, they'll sign up for the challenge, and that's automatically trackable. The moment someone signs up, it's trackable. Did you get the point? Whereas if you just send them to wealthmigrate.com, we've got no way to track it.
Got it. Okay, that brings us to the next question. When is the next diversification challenge again?
24th of February.
24th February. Okay.
Yeah. So this is an internal conversation we need to have because I love doing these. Quite frankly, I would do these every week. but the difference is we want to keep them special. And then also for me personally, it's a massive investment from our team in terms of delivering. So we want to make sure that we are increasing. If I'm honest with you, I know we spoke about this on one of the earlier days, but it really irritates me when there's only a couple of hundred people. I'll be frank with you, it does. I want thousands of people. I want tens of thousands of people. So I want to figure that out. I don't want to do more of them. I want to get more people per event. But at the moment, the next scheduled one's the 24th of February.
Makes sense. Then next question is on about the wallet. Can we only send fiat to the wallet, or can we send crypto like USD Tether as well to that wallet?
Yeah, so we can only use fiat at the moment. I went to Lemonway's office, so they're in Paris, in France. I had to go for a very important Lemonway meeting and then watch a bit of rugby on the side during the World Cup. And no one joined the dots there. I went to watch rugby and then went to see Lemonway. But anyway, but I was there 2 years ago, and then Paolo was there literally now about a month ago, and they want to do crypto. So how's this? Okay, so they're backed by the top 5 banks in Europe. They want to do crypto. The European regulator wants them to do crypto, but the 5 banks won't allow crypto. And
Okay.
that's their holding banks of the discretionary. Now, the whole crypto game is like it's being held back by the by the industry thing. So again, I'm going to answer your question, Max. At the moment, no. It's something we're all trying to push to change, but there's certain forces that are beyond our control.
All right, so I'll just need to find a roundabout way to get it there.
Yeah.
Okay, then you mentioned Cashbox a couple of days ago. So I had a look at Cashbox's website. There's some deals I don't understand the deals for now, but how do you select which deals you will put on your platform or not? If I understand.
Yeah, it's a great question. And the best way to describe it is that if you take some of those rules that we used over the last couple of days, so at a high level now, we're not going with all the high level stuff. You're now at the partner level. You're like, which deal should we do with this partner? So the conversation I had with Chad on the 18th of December was, look, you bring out a new structured note every kind of 6 to 8 weeks. That's roughly about every 4 to 6 weeks. Actually, is about what to bring them out. I said, look, I don't need a new structured note every 4 to 6 weeks. And particularly some of the ones that I brought out recently are all growth based. And those ones scare me a little bit because like the tech has to do this. And we've got a big problem at the moment where we invested in one, I don't know, Alex, if you can remember when, but it was about 3 years ago. And PayPal was at $91 and PayPal dropped as low as like $50. So it's got what's called an income, it's got a memory protection, which means we're not losing our money on the assumption that PayPal gets above $91. Okay, now on the 18th of December, I don't know if anyone knows this, but PayPal was $93. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is on the 18th of December. On the 31st of December, it had to be above $91. Does anyone know what the price was? Do you even know what the price was, Alex, on the 30th of December? Sorry, now I'm going to swear if you don't mind, because this is how angry I am. It was fucking $88. Okay, which basically means that for 3 years, our money's been weighted. It was above $91, and then literally 3 days before it dropped to $88.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're waiting again, okay, for another quarter. And you literally have to, and I'm sorry if I offended anyone with swearing, but it seriously irritates me. Okay, so the point of my story, Max, and I'm kind of trying to answer your question with a story, is that I'm more interested in income producing ones where we're not relying on particularly these growth tech companies that like are so volatile and go up and down, in different directions. They are looking to bring out a growth one, and I have a meeting with Chad at 4. Paulo and I have a meeting with Chad at 4:00 on Monday to talk about their next income. Sorry, did I say growth? Income. Their next income product. So yes, to answer your question, we try and focus on income producing assets. It's the same with property. If I get given 3 property opportunities, one's a new development with no income, another one's only income, I would go with the only income before the capital growth one, only capital growth. And the ideal is the blend in the middle.
Okay, because there is some deals that looks return-wise not so bad, but obviously there's risks involved you need to understand.
Yeah, well, the one they did at Christmas, we considered trying to launch it, but we only had like 6 days. It just wasn't enough time. Was I think 23%. Yeah. So like a 4-year note at 23%, but no income. So you're relying for 4 years now, unless you get the order call and all that. I don't want to confuse people, but the point is those share prices have to stay above that rate for the 4 years. And I tell you what, properties are so much easier. Like you buy the property and the tenant pays the rent. How do I make the PayPal share price go up or down? You can't. You just it's like watching a horror show.
Then my last question is, you made a comment earlier today that the euro is going to increase 40 to 50% over the US dollar. Now, my question is the euro going to increase or is the dollar going to decrease in relation to all the other currencies? Where do we need to position ourselves? Yes.
So let me teach you how I operate. The information I gave you was on last year's information. Okay, so we did an event with James Painter and with Garth Wellman. So Garth is the CEO of Calio. James Painter is the guy that I do all my forecasting with. I still maintain he's the best I found. He wrote chapter 2 of the book. He did module 2 of Wealth Going Global. And both of them were fairly conclusive that we needed to be in the euro because the dollar was going to weaken against the euro. And so you were going to get anywhere from 30 to 50% in increase in value if you're in the euro. that was before Trump got into power, and that was before America First. So next Wednesday, very consciously, I have James Painter coming back to give us a mastermind session on what does he think and where are we going. So I'll have a much better answer for you by Thursday in terms of what it means.
Yeah.
I can't answer your question. I'm not the expert. I don't know. So again, the thing I always do is try to go find the person who knows. I've no idea whether that scenario planning they did still holds with Trump in power. I have an inkling that it might not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it actually came from my question for myself. How does it affect the US-based deals?
Well, it doesn't affect them necessarily at all. It just, look, again, back to diversification. You're never going to get it all right. And so the point being is that if you've got all your money in American property in US dollars, whatever, I mean, you're probably safer than most other places. But the point is, it's still risky. Do you know what I mean? Like, so there's huge value in my opinion, being in euro investments, being in pound investments, being in dollar investments, etc. But yeah, if the dollar devalues, it won't necessarily impact, American property. I mean, look, I always use the thing, where people, there are a lot of doomsday people out there, and they say, listen, America's the reserve currency, and Bitcoin's going to come in, and America's going to collapse, and et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not saying it won't happen, but I always say if it does happen, we South Africans or us Africans actually have quite a good idea of what it looks like because we know what happened in Zim. The entire country imploded. The currency fell apart. So then you start saying, okay, well, what still held its value? Residential property still held its value. You can go to Harare today and houses are extremely expensive in US dollars because it's literally the only thing that held its value. Commercial property that had a use case held its value. So it's quite interesting because you can literally look at a country and you've seen it implode and you've gone, okay, well, if the world implodes, what's going to hold value? And I think it's a fairly common sense thing to go, well, if it happened there and it happens here, it'll be the same thing. So my attitude with these things is you've got to have something that's of tangible value. And then whether we pay in US dollars or we pay in cows and pigs, someone's going to pay you something if you've got something of value.
Yeah, and the property can ride through the dips as well. The cycles in the market until it's something in the future. Yeah,
unless it's a house in Detroit.
Correct.
I mean that sincerely. Like if the market cycle's going in the opposite direction, then not necessarily, If you own houses in Johannesburg, sorry. Yeah. But, like there was a gentleman that had a property in Northcliffe in Johannesburg, and he was like, he built it and it was worth 10 million and he got offered 7 million. And I was like, oh, I'm not taking an offer for 7 million. It's worth 10. I said, dude, wake up and smell the coffee. It might be worth 5 by next year,
Yeah.
And just and those that aren't from South Africa, there's this massive migration from Johannesburg to Cape Town. And because of that, everyone's trying to all sell their houses at the same time, which means there's no buyers, which means prices are going down.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott.
No worries. Peace. Hope that helps.
It does.
Okay. Boom, 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 boom. So I'm just looking through here. Okay. Natasha said, assume with the calculator, are the profits being reinvested? Yes. So Natasha, the assumption is that they're being reinvested through the process. Most people that sort of come to our platform want to reinvest for a while and then want to take it out. Again, at a mastermind level, if you remember, Anthony was talking about that on Wednesday, where he was like, depending on where you are in your life and depending on what your circumstances are, then you build the model to allow for your circumstances. If you need to draw an income, then that needs to be taken into account in the model. But yeah, for the simplicity's sake of that model, it's based on reinvestment. Okay, I want to keep up with all the meetings. Yeah, just remember, Shona, between Alex and Shanika, I don't know if you've met Shanika, if you've spoken to Shanika, but everyone's here to try and help and hold your hand through the process, basically. I want to ask about the venue for the Algarve. It's coming. Literally just before Christmas, and like this, we had to like bed down. I literally, it was like the, I don't know, 18th of December or something, that I went and met with Garth and I planned out the year. And I was like, right, we're going to do this at this time. So so far I've got the country and the region. We still got to zoom in more. So, Thomas, if you want to learn in terms of what Cashbox do, if you go, I know you're a wealth hacker. So if you go to Classroom and you go to Asset Class Mastery, then you can see structured notes is actually at the top here. So there's actually a lesson on what structured notes are all about, how to use them and everything. It's all here. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. This is that moment where you guys are supposed to tell me I'm not sharing it. So what did I do? I went to Classroom, then I went to Asset Class Mastery, and then structured notes. And then there's a whole lesson on what structured notes are, how they work. And then we take their structured notes and we put them on the Wealth Migrate platform. So you don't have to do extra work. It's a case of, but we want you to know what they are. They're quite, I battle to, I mean, Alex, you're actually much better at me explaining what a structured note is. You spend more time learning it. I'm like, it's some complicated thing at the bank that I don't fully understand. I don't know if you've got anything to say on that, Alex.
Yeah, sure. I think there's a lot of substance behind this, but really in simple terms, it's a way that you can have exposure in your portfolio to the secondary market without actually owning the shares. So we spoke a lot about secondary and primary markets over the last 5 days, meaning if you had to go buy shares, you would go to a trading account. So let's just use Easy Equities as an example for South Africans. You would go there, you would buy shares and you would own the share. You would buy it at 65, let's just say $65. The markets would then dictate if it goes up or down. Let's say it goes up, you sell at 80, you've made $20, or it goes down to 40. So there's a lot of volatility in that space. Now, the structured notes is a contract with an investment grade bank that is connected to those shares. So it's just a nice way that you can have some exposure to the secondary market, but not actually own the shares. So that's the whole purpose of it, and why sophisticated investors use these type of investments or these different types of vehicles, as they say, to achieve the return. Now, as Scott has alluded to, you get growth notes and you get income notes, but for the sake of this example, let's just stick to income notes. So the income note would be a contract with an investment grade bank that's got a defined timeline. So it's either in the European case, it's mostly 4 years. So you invest $10,000 for 4 years, and then the note is then, they call it the strike date. And that's when the contract is actually connected to the bank. Then that contract will then run for the 4 years. But the intention of that vehicle or the structured note is to actually auto call. So what they mean is, as long as there's a certain defined time, a timeline, and also the is match at a certain date, they then auto call. So the whole purpose of it is you actually invest for maybe best case scenario 12 months. This note auto calls and you get your money back. But during that 12-month period, you would have gotten some income from it. And then there's also security. They call it the memory function and the the memory function, as well as the protection barrier. So the whole purpose of the note is to be a very sophisticated product, but they're actually, really, in simple terms, is just a nice way of having or exposure to the secondary market in that sense. So yeah, that in simple terms is what it is.
Lisha, I can never remember how to pronounce your name exactly right, but anyway, you said with Cashbox there's a 10K minimum investment, so that's correct. So originally it was $2 million to do a structured note when I met Chad in 2019. Then Cashbox have managed to fractionalize it to $10,000. They've got trading accounts, but at Wealth Migrate, we still put it on and you can get in from $10. So we've fractionalized access to it. So again, it used to only be available to literally people with $2 million per investment. Right? So you put down $2 million per note, like you had to have proper money. Whereas, we can now participate at $10. So the only challenge we've got is the timing. So, Chad tells us there's a note coming out and it's closing in like 10 days. And it's like, literally, guys, the deal's live, get it in, you know what I mean? And this is the challenge, like it literally generally only works for people who already have money in their wallets, because the deal goes live, we have to open it, get the money, close it, and get the money to the bank all within like 10 days. And so we don't have time for, Max, I'm picking on you to say, hey, I want to send the money over and I got to convert it from Bitcoin into fiat and then it's going to land in the wallet. It doesn't work. There's not enough time. So what we do with structured notes is we say to people, if this is what you like, they bring these things out fairly consistently. Get your wallet ready so that when it comes, you can participate, because there's not enough time to retrospectively do it. That's the one downside. It's just there's not time.
Yeah, and I think just to further to that point, Scott, it's also as you just realized, or as I just realized trying to explain it, it is a very complex vehicle in its nature. So a lot of people go, oh, they don't understand it, or why, like, what are the risks, what are the rewards, how safe is it? So it's also another barrier to entry for us, is if people don't understand it or they don't understand the underlying shares, then it's also just another roadblock to actually raise. So that's why we've done all these home study courses for people to actually self-educate themselves and understand what are the fundamentals. So when we do launch these type of products, that it's not a, how can I put this in really nice terms? It's not, we're trying to explain what a product is without launching it. It's, here's the product, either invest or don't.
So I mean, that's why I've already shown this, but that's why it's there. Look, I had a conversation with the regulator years ago, and the regulator was like, you're not allowed to do what you do because you're going to, little old grannies are going to put their money in and they're going to get robbed and whatever. And I was like, that's rubbish. Like, if we teach people and then they make a conscious choice to make the investment, then why should they not be able to be involved? Structured notes is a great example, because the regulator's opinion is Scott shouldn't be allowed to invest in a structured note because he doesn't know what it is. And I'm like, well, someone with $2 million doesn't know what it is either, but their family office does. Do you understand what I'm trying to get at? So our philosophy was, well, why don't we just, like, I literally had this conversation with the regulator. I was like, well, if we empower people, then they can't say that Alex sold them into a structured note and they didn't know what they were doing. I was like, well, don't be stupid. Don't invest in a structured note if you don't know what it is. Or you understand what I'm saying? Like, but here's the training. Go and do the training if you want to know what it is. So that's, I mean, very consciously, that's why we've created the Wealth Hackers. And you'll notice I will never accept responsibility. I'll accept responsibility for my mistakes, but I'll never accept responsibility if someone says, oh, I didn't know what I was doing or whatever, because there's all the resources for people to go and get the knowledge, if that makes sense, And I mean, I had someone not recently, maybe 3 months ago, and they were like, they invested in this deal, and it was a commercial property, and the target date, exit date was, I'm making it up, the 30th of August. And they're like, oh, so it's supposed to exit on the 30th of August. I was like, dude, it's property. Like, they actually have to sell the property for it to exit. Like, he was like, oh, I didn't know that. I was like, well, then you're an idiot. Because, I'm sorry, it is, because that's a target. Like 5 years from now, the partner's saying, we want to sell it in the third quarter of, 2028. And about a year before, they start planning for it. But if they haven't actually got a buyer that's paid the money, then we still got to wait. I mean, does that make sense? Anyway, listen, I want to share something. Shona, you asked a question. And I know I bounce around a little bit, but you're part of the mastermind. So if you go to the mastermind and you go to the classroom, you'll see there's a lesson here. I'm going to send it to you privately as well, but it's the 16 macro trends. And this is where I went through. So I've been doing this presentation for the best part of about, I just want to get how do I share this with you? Sorry, just give me 2 seconds. I'm just trying to figure out how to share this with you. But anyway, okay, I'll figure it out afterwards. But anyway, the bottom line is, so I studied at Singularity University in 2015. And since then, I've been doing this presentation on the 8 technology macro trends and the 8 societal macro trends and how they're all intersecting. So there's 16 macro trends that are all intersecting at the same time in this decade. So from 2020 to 2030. And I started doing this presentation in 2015. And then tied into that was for people that wanted to be shareholders within the company. I showed them how the trends were working. So I redid it for our mastermind members. I think that recording is November last year, literally 2 months ago. To your question, I would recommend you watch that recording. And if it's something of interest to you, then reach out to me and you and I can just have a chat about it. Okay. I'll figure. I don't know how to share it. I feel a bit stupid now, but I can't figure out a way to share that. But anyway, it's in the mastermind platform, and it's under the 16 macro trends.
Scott.
Yes, Alan.
Scott, well done. You've given your life away for the last 5 days. Energy. Hope you don't get sick like Alex.
Luckily, I don't cuddle addicts, so we're fine.
Yeah. I told him to go to the doctor. Anyway, it's another story. Anyway, with having joined you, obviously, and for the first time and spent 5 days on it, is it possible, I suppose it's Alex, can put out a schedule, if you want to say, call it, the following we need to do? Go through these 5 days wherever they are on your screen. When you've done that, go to this website or this link, go to that link, just to give some structure so like stupid people like me know that we've done all the stuff. Am I making sense to you?
No, completely. No, I think. I mean, what's interesting to me is that if I understand what you're saying, in simple terms, this picture here, and again, we can write this out. I've got a good idea of what you want. This picture here is pretty much what we talk about with that Ashbrook ladder.
No, great. Then you don't have to write it out. All I'm looking for is say, Alan, do A. Just put that thing up again.
So the point is, it would be do passive income challenge first, then do wealth going global, then do asset mastery. And the point is, you're already part of the mastermind. So each one of these are effectively foundational things to enable you to get the best out of the mastermind.
But I have to do that. You have to do those foundation things that you've been on for the last one. Otherwise, you'll have half the picture.
No, you don't have to. You don't have to, but to get the best experience, that would be the best.
I think then you know the whole. Otherwise, you're getting half the story and you don't know. So I must follow those things where the 5 steps are. You're doing that thing and go on to that stuff. It's got the links there and whatever. And then I know. Okay, brilliant.
And I mean, for you, Alan, just I know, like technology-wise, just to try and make it easy for you. So if you go in again, say as I showed Shona there. So for the mastermind, you've effectively got here, and you got the 9 steps. Because I'm just going to show you quickly. You got the 9 steps. Then you've got any recording. So if you ever miss an event or anything, all the recordings are here. I mean, you can go back literally to 2022 if you want with all the recordings. Then you've got wealth going global, which is you've got asset mastery. So my point being is, if I go back to this thing here, they're all in one place for you.
Okay, so that's fine then. Okay, I'll work on that step ladder.
Yeah. No, but I think the last thing I'd say, Alan, is that it's not always the same for everybody. So in your case, you really want to gather the knowledge, which is fantastic, and you got time. Whereas on the other hand, some people are like, I just don't have the time. And then we're like, you don't have to do all the courses. You might want to just meet with Callio and they're going to help you. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not the same for everyone.
Well, you need knowledge to go into Callio too, because I've seen. Otherwise, how can you really have a constructive meeting with Callio? If you don't know the whole story, it's just. Anyway, you've done a great job. You're an incredible person. I have listened to many, and I must say, really, you're inspiring.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it a lot.
Okay, all the best.
So what you're saying is you're giving me permission to take the afternoon off and go and spend the time on the boat.
No, yeah, you need to go and take a bit of, because you work at night, you need to go and have a break, Otherwise, your head will also become stuffed.
I'll let you all in on a little secret. I actually had a one-to-one mastermind coaching call at 3:00. So the gentleman's based in Saudi Arabia, and he could only do Friday, and he could only do 3:00. And I was literally like, it's my son's last week of holiday. And I was like, I don't want to do a mastermind coaching call at 3:00 on a Friday. So anyway, so I sent him a message and I was like, look, this week's just too busy with the challenge and everything on.
Absolutely.
I think we need to do it next week. So that was me 100% postponing, like just kicking that can down the road.
No, I understand. There's a limit what you can do. There's a limit. Okay. All right, Bert. Thank you.
Great, Alan. Cheers, mate. Natasha, did we answer your question? Sorry to clarify, structured notes are, some may refer as a contract for difference where you borrow the options to sell and pay higher fees to the broker for the service. I'm not. I don't really understand what you're saying there, and I'm not going to try and sound. I would highly recommend, Natasha, that you watch that that thing in that structured note. Like it's about a 90-minute. What is a structured note? How it works? And actually, like, there's no ways in this VIP session that I can give justice. Chad is much better than me at explaining what a structured note is. Even Alex, no disrespect, Alex, but you and me chuck around terms, whereas he makes it quite easy in terms of that process. So I'd strongly recommend, Natasha, that you watch that training. Does that make sense? You know which one I'm talking about? Yes, no? Do you notify us of the deals on the school community, or the best way to get notified? So there's 3 ways I would answer that question. One is when we remember to put it on school, we do. Okay, just hear me out here. 2 is we always email it out. So if you're on the email list, then you'll get it. And 3 is that we've got a WhatsApp group, which we try and keep just to deals, which we call the inner circle. So if you're not part of that, I will put a link in for everyone now quickly. And that's where I just try and keep. It's the kind of the one I use just to keep people updated of deals. I know not everyone's like me, but I hate email. Where am I going? So I'm just trying to look for how to share it with you. What's the bloody there? Add. Copy link. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in the Zoom room in the link here. So link to inner circle. And then what we do there is I bring out sort of weekly updates on what's happening with deals. That's the current deals. And then if we've got new deals, we put them there as well. So just, I think to answer your question, we're trying to make it as easy as possible. I mean, we don't have SMS, but we're trying to, my philosophy is if I like WhatsApp, then people should be giving me WhatsApp. If you want email, you should be getting email, but we're not. I wish we were a little bit better. Alexander, what is SMS? Right? Yes, exactly. That's my point. Alex, SMS is an expensive service that doesn't work, that people in the old days used to use. Okay, so then I'll just put in VIP here so that you've got that link as well. Okay, so hopefully that just helps with just we don't bring out that many deals every week and month, so we do try and make quite a song and a dance about it. I'd be a little bit upset if you missed it, particularly because you pay a lot of attention, Misha. Between social media and emails and everything. If you miss it, then I don't know what else we're supposed to do. Okay, so as we sort of look to close out our container, what else can we look at? To help you with? Is there any blockages? Is there anything that you're thinking like shit? Okay, Alan asked a great question, like what should I do next or whatever, so that we can just help you kind of get clear, next step in terms of that process. And just by the way, Kai, this is the year I want to get you investing, passive income challenge. Like with your permission, you're going to be our hero because we're going to put you on a pedestal, and then we're going to show everyone else, well, if he can do it, then any of you can do it. So, and for all of you that are part of the VIP, Kai's the young gentleman that you can see on the screen here that I was talking about, that got started last year at 13. So yeah, anyone who has excuses, I love to use Kai as an example where I'm like, well, if he can do it, you can do it. So, and I mean that with the greatest respect, dude. My son's 12, and I'm like, where's he? I don't see him. He's off riding his mountain bike or something. So, anyway. Any questions? Any thoughts? Anything else that I can help with? So I want to leave you with 1 or 2 closing thoughts. Then, if there are no more questions, the first one for me is that what we go through here at this VIP level is much nicer. I much prefer it. You can see people's faces, you can engage, you can ask questions, etc. And so, as part of the Wealth Hackers, this is what we do every Friday at lunchtime. So, and you don't have to turn up. I know people are time poor, but we just create that environment where every Friday I turn up, and I don't necessarily, I try and bring one theme, because there's nothing worse than just kind of standing there looking at paint dry. But I do try and bring kind of one theme a week to kind of talk about. but it's not about me. It's to be able to answer questions, create engagement. So that's what we do at the Wealth Hacker level, which is, and then at the mastermind level, it's obviously at the next level, but we do the same thing where we meet on a monthly basis to be able to do that. And for me, what we're experiencing now is what I love the most, which is where people can communicate and chat and ask questions. And what I find the best is that by being in this environment, someone else asks a question, you're like, oh, I didn't think of that, but that's actually a great question, in terms of that overall process. So that's just my, whether it's this community or another community, I don't really mind, but I think there's massive power in community and doing it together. So that'd be my first thing. And then my second thing would just be, thanks to all of you for being part of the VIPs. I can tell you statistically, because Alex and I and Shane track all of the stuff, statistically, it's the people that are part of the VIPs that actually get the most results. So I don't know why it is. I assume it's because people that take action and are prepared to invest in themselves are the ones that don't have all the excuses and actually get on and get it done. So, well done to you, because you've already kind of made significant progress. So don't let me down. don't mess with the numbers. That's just a bit of humor. But it's important because, at the end of the day, this is all rah-rah and it's lots of fun, but it's not about this. It's about getting, when Derek said he got $6 and it was so interesting because Alex and I did a live event with Derek, and I actually didn't know that video, like that excitement came from $6. He didn't get $6,000 or $60,000. He got $6. And it made me realize, in fact, because of Derek, we built the Passive Income Challenge, literally because of him. Because we realized that just the mindset shift, when you get your first $6 without having to work for it, then anything's possible. Then it can become 60 or 600 or 60, 6,000 or whatever. So, my strong recommendation is, if you don't know what to do, and literally don't know what to do, then just join Alex on Wednesday with the Passive Income Challenge and start to earn that first passive income. Because that's where, our belief system is, the moment you become like Derek and you earn your $6, then you're like, wow, what else is possible? Does that make sense? Okay. I think that's it. Alex, any closing thoughts from you? I know you had them on the general group, but to the VIPs, I know you've spoken to a lot of people personally in this group and everything, but anything from your side?
No, not really, Scott. I think that you actually put everything quite in a nutshell. I think I'll refer to my previous statement is, whatever you do, just do something. I think that's pretty much the take of this entire week. We gave you a lot of options and a lot of information, but it's ultimately up to you now to actually go do something with it. And reach out to us if we can help you with any of the things that we spoke about. Again, everyone's on the call, I think, has got my number. If you don't have it, shame, boo you, or say to you. But I'll also just put it in the chat box here. So 066282873. There it is. So
I did notice, Alex, you were much more reluctant to put in the book a meeting with me on the general group. Yesterday he's like, oh, any of you can book a meeting, but on the general group, no, it's very irritating, and I know why, because you put it out and then people can't even remember they booked a meeting, they don't turn up, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, no, there's no point. I'll rather have a chat on WhatsApp and then actually see if someone's serious and then take it from there. So yeah. Anyway,
Alex,
thanks.
You got the link, Alex. You got the link. Richard was just asking for the link for Trustpilot. Do you have the link? So it's this link here. If I just I'll pull up the screen for you quickly. Where's my thing gone?
I've got the thing that Shane set up, the testimonial bonus step 1 and then step 2.
Yeah, so if you go, this is the link here, diversificationchallenge.com testimonial, this one here. Is that the one?
I've just put the link in the chat as well.
Okay. Because if it does that, it basically helps you, whether you write a written testimonial. Oh, thanks, Shah, you put it in there. Whether you write a written testimonial, which goes to Trustpilot, then, but remember, you have to do it on Trustpilot. We can't put it on Trustpilot. So sometimes people email us something and we're like, well, we can't do anything about that. Like, you've got to put it on Trustpilot yourself. and or if you do a video, it's actually quite an amazing little tool that Shane created, because most people hate doing video testimonials. And what it does, Max, I'm just going to pick on you. It actually has me like ask a question, like, right, what, and all you have to do is answer the question. So you don't have to like, because people hate putting a video and like trying to think through and whatever. So it's got like, I don't remember, but it's got like 3 or 4 questions. And whenever I do a testimonial live with someone, they always say to me, that was so easy. And I'm like, I know, because you don't have to think about stuff. I'm just going to sit and ask you questions. All you got to do is answer questions. And Shane found this technology. It's amazing. Where it literally asks you the question. All you do is answer it, and then it puts it together in one video. It's quite amazing, actually. So yeah, if you're scared of video, again, we ethically bribe you to give us videos because people prefer videos to written. But anyway, it's all good. John, lovely to see you here. We're literally wrapping up, Captain. Just by the way, while I've got you, did Susanna reach out to you? I gave her your number. Joe? I'm not pronouncing right. Is he there? No, it looks frozen. Okay. Okay, I think it's a good time to wrap it up for everyone. Thank you for your time this week. I deeply appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend. And most importantly, I look forward to seeing your results. Cheers, everyone. Bye then.